Hello, welcome to Highlights. My name is Jim Strawn, host of the television program Highlights from the Heart of Our Community. Is a show brought to you through a collaboration between my company, Jim Strawn and Company, also with Optimum Cable Services and Kanawha County Schools TV. And if you're a regular viewer of this show, and we certainly hope that you are, you know how much you love to focus on those grassroots organizations, businesses, and people that are just doing phenomenal work, outstanding work to make our great state of West Virginia and our Kanawha Valley and our city of Charleston and Institute, West Virginia, a much better place to live, learn, work, and to play. And on today's Highlights program, we're going to feature a university that is doing all of that and much, much more. I'm so thrilled to have the president of West Virginia State University on our program today. So we're going to be talking all things Yellow Jackets, all things West Virginia State University. So sit back, relax, soak it all in. Lots of really good information coming your way and a lot of good insight coming your way as well. He's no stranger to the show. This is his second trip back. I turn to my right and I welcome into the Highlights program President Ericke S. President, how are you?
I'm doing very well, Jim. Thank you so much for having me back here. It's always a pleasure to come.
It's good to see
spend time with you.
We were talking off air, your journey at West Virginia State University. Talk to the audience, remind them when you got to the State University, and then just recently you were named you lost the interim role.
Yes.
Now you're the president of West Virginia State University.
That's right.
It's been about 2 or 3 years?
Well, actually going into year 3, believe it or not,
wow,
Jim. You know, as you recall, I joined West Virginia State University in July of 2021, and I came to the university from Norfolk State University, where I had worked for our presidents and for our board chairs. But when I came to West Virginia State, I came to be vice president and chief of staff, and really had no intentions of being the president of the institution. But there was some crisis in leadership that occurred at the institution. That my predecessor resigned, and I was asked by our board to initially step up as the chief operating officer, and about a month later was asked to assume the role of interim president. And I think with the support of a really dedicated cabinet, with the support of a really dedicated and caring community of faculty, staff, students, alumni, and community supporters, I was able to successfully navigate the university, get us back on a path of stability. And I think that helped convince the board and our community that I was the right person to be the permanent president. And I was appointed the permanent president of the university in March of 2022, and been on the job as the permanent president a little bit over a year now. So really enjoying being here at West Virginia State and being in the Mountain State.
Well, publicly, I'm going to say this, you're doing a great job. And now, after a year on the job as the full-time permanent president of the West Virginia State University, you know exactly what you're doing, right? You know exactly what's going on down there?
Well,
no, I know that's tough. I know it's tough. But do you like the community? Do you like West Virginia? Do you like the Kanawha Valley? How are you being received?
Yes.
Are you getting involved on committees? I know you and I went over the Truist building last year. You and I were probably the scariest ones, but you're getting involved with just various organizations, aren't you?
I am out in the community, very engaged, serve on a number of boards here in the Kanawha Valley and across our state, and frankly on some national boards as well. But look, I mean, West Virginia has been incredibly welcoming to me. This community, the Kanawha Valley, is really full of people who love this state and all of its beauty, people who care for one another, and people who believe in the success of this community. I tell everybody that, look, I was born in a small town in Southern Virginia, a place called Halifax County, which is small town right on the North Carolina border. And it was just a caring community, continues to be a caring community. So when I stepped off the plane at Yeager for the first time, when I arrived here in West Virginia, and I looked around, I really felt right at home. I felt like this was a community that, again, reminded me so much of that small town that I grew up in, and really just fell in love with the place from that moment. And that love and that passion has continued as my tenure as the 13th president of West Virginia State University, continues to advance.
I read that the other day. You're just the 13th
Yes.
president of West Virginia State University, and it has such a long and rich tradition and history. Before I go into the history of West Virginia State University, though, I know you were born and raised in a neighboring state, but I thought you were going to say you got here as fast as you could. but you feel pretty good here.
I do.
You feel pretty good here. We're talking with the president of West Virginia State University, if you're just tuning in, Ericke S, named president just over a year ago in March of 2022. I opened up my Gazette mail a couple of days ago, recently, as this show is being taped and as it's being aired. And you're on the front page, and you hosted a roundtable discussion. Our United States Senator there, Senator Manchin was there, and some other dignitaries. I recognized Chad Prather from the bank, and I recognized a few others. But it was really discussing, point blank, the need that you wrote an op-ed on regarding the School of Agriculture, Food, and Natural Resources. I think I read in the paper, I think I read from you, there's like 20,000 farms, right? 20,000 farms in West Virginia, and we have about 200 farmers market just in West Virginia alone. And you're one of the few, if not the only, land-grant institution in the United States without an agricultural school. And you want to change that, don't you?
Absolutely.
Talk about that a little bit.
Well, thank you, Jim. Absolutely, we must change that.
Yeah.
And just to set the record straight, we are the only land-grant institution, and there are just a little bit over 100 of them in the United States.
I can't believe that.
We're the only land-grant institution.
We used to
in
have
this
a School
country.
of Agriculture.
We
though.
did, we did. But,
so we're trying to bring it back.
We're trying to bring it back,
Okay.
and I believe that we will bring it back. But as you said, we did do an incredible roundtable yesterday with Senator Manchin and a number of other stakeholders who were involved in the agricultural sector here in West Virginia. And we had a really, really productive conversation about why the time is right to bring a School of Agriculture, Food, and Natural Resources to our institution. As you know, Jim, our university was founded back in 1891 as a land-grant institution. And as a land-grant institution, one of our core tenets, one of our core responsibilities was to train students in agriculture and agricultural sciences. And we carried that tradition proudly until the 1950s, when the university unfortunately did lose its land-grant status, and with the loss of that status, the agricultural program was also lost. But again, we talked about a few minutes ago the fact that there are 20,000 farms in the state of West Virginia. There are 200 farmers markets. There have been incredible investments in our state in the agriculture sector. For example, Mountaintop Beverage in Morgantown, a $200 million investment in our state. Hundreds of jobs, direct jobs, are being created, and there will be hundreds more indirect downstream jobs created. So there's an incredible need, a workforce need. So we're trying to establish a School of Agriculture to meet that need. We want West Virginia to be at the forefront of the agricultural sector, of the agricultural economy as we move forward. And frankly, we are already doing incredible work in this space. As I said, although we lost our land-grant status, we did regain it through the hard work of one of my predecessors, President Hazel Carter.
So about 20 or 25 years ago, we got that back.
That's right.
We are a land-grant institution.
We are.
Once again, West Virginia State University.
That's right.
And now we're trying to regain the School of Agriculture.
The School of Agriculture.
And you already do some things, like you were saying. Go ahead.
We
You already do some
already
things in that space.
That's right. We already are engaged in agricultural research.
Okay.
We've received over the last 5 or so years about $45 million in competitive grants from the U.S. Department of Agriculture to conduct agricultural research in things like food resiliency and plant sustainability. So we're really making significant contributions to the agriculture sector. We also recently received, one of our researchers, Dr. Kessel, at the university, received a $4.5 million grant from the USDA's NextGen program. And under that grant program, we're actually going to be helping to prepare the next generation of the agricultural workforce here in West Virginia. And that grant is from the USDA, but we're doing the grant in cooperation with the West Virginia Department of agriculture. Also think about the fact that at the land-grant institution, we also have an extension service. And that extension service literally is delivering programming to all 55 counties in the Mountain State. And that programming, runs the gamut from, again, helping farmers make sure that their crops are yielding more productive. Also working with grand families to help them raise their grandchildren. 4-H programs, which you're all familiar with. We also do work with introducing K-12 students to STEM education. So we are already out in the community. We have the network. We have the results. So this is just a natural next step, an evolution to bring the School of Agriculture, Food, and Natural Resources
It
back to the
absolutely
university.
is, and no pun intended really, but it feels like the table is set for
It
Western
is.
State University to move forward. How did you feel at the end of the roundtable meeting
Yes.
with, I think there was a representative there from the USDA
There
as
was.
well. So you had all the players at the table. How did you leave it? How did you feel? Like, oh, this is going to happen. This is pretty good stuff.
Well, I felt really good, and I
Okay.
think one of the things I certainly want to say is I appreciate Senator Manchin's commitment to this issue, and one of the commitments he made was that, in fact, he had reached out to Secretary Vilsack, the U.S. Secretary of Agriculture, during the time span in which he was on our campus, and what the Secretary has committed to do is to put together a team, which I'll call kind of a strike team, which is actually going to bring together key subject matter experts from the Department of Agriculture to come to our campus to begin a conversation about our desire to bring a School of Agriculture. Again, we're also, in addition to having the roundtable with Senator Manchin, we've also been having conversations with other stakeholders. We, myself and my Vice President for Agricultural Research and Extension, Dr. Amy Smith, we've been making the rounds. We've been in Washington, D.C. We've met with folks at the USDA. We've met with folks at the EPA. We are having conversations with folks at the state legislature. And I will say the state legislature has been very, very supportive in helping us to receive our land grant match, and we are so thankful for that. We've also been talking to folks in the private sector, in the corporate sector, about the need for this and trying to solicit support. So I believe that this will happen. It'll be a combination of support from the federal government, from the local government, from the state government, and from the private sector.
I remember talking with you the last time on the Highlight Show, and once again, if you're just tuning in, we're talking with the president of West Virginia State University, Ericke S, named president just over a year or so ago, been on campus for 2 or 3 years now. I remember from the first conversation that I had with you, you're no stranger to the hallways in Washington, D.C.
That's right.
We don't need to harp on that again, but you've done some work in D.C., so you're no stranger over there. I see you at our state capitol often.
That's right.
Talking to our state legislators. And so it sounds like you're talking, like you just met, all the stakeholders, corporately, small businesses, USDA, farmers, you've got it down. What's a timeline for you, Eric? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, so I tell people all the time, I'm not naive enough to think that this is going to happen overnight.
Right.
We're talking about establishing an entire school of agriculture, and we want to make sure that we're intentional about this. We want to make sure that we're creating something that meets, that clearly meets the needs, the workforce needs, because we want to make sure that any money that is invested in this program returns significant results. So I think realistically, we're probably looking at a timeline of probably around 3 to 4 years.
Okay, not bad. That's my lifetime. That's my lifetime. I look forward to it. I love the history and the tradition. I actually got my master's degree on that campus down there when it was the old West Virginia College of Graduate Studies, but I've been in many of those facilities on campus. I know we have some pictures we might be showing as the show, but it's a beautiful campus. There's not many flat campuses in West Virginia.
Yeah.
Yours is one of the
That's
few.
right.
Yours is one of the few.
That's right.
But it's just beautiful, and the new athletic complex there. There's some of the photos there. That's the science hall, right?
Yeah, it is.
That we're looking at
It
right
is.
now, and you have some pretty great alumni from down there, both athletically and academically. I know I see the picture of the statue from the young lady from the movie,
Yes.
Hidden Figures.
The young lady from White Sulphur Springs,
White
West
Sulphur,
Virginia.
yeah.
Of course, we know Katherine Johnson is one of West Virginia State's most prominent alumni, really one of the most prominent alumni of West Virginia, of the Mountain State. And, Catherine came to West Virginia State. She actually received both her high school degree and her undergraduate degree from West Virginia State. And as you know from the movie Hidden Figures, she went on to NASA to help win the space race.
I can hardly put my arms around it. I can
Yes,
hardly put my arms around it.
Incredible
Yeah,
story.
But before I knew her, I knew Earl Lloyd.
That's right.
I didn't know him, but
Yes.
one of the
Yes.
first African American to play in the NBA, I
That's
do
right.
believe, and he played down at West Virginia State.
He did.
It used to be West Virginia State College years ago. I don't know how long we've
Yes.
been a university, but again, long and rich tradition. You're expanding. You're expanding into downtown Charleston.
Yes.
What is the expansion? It looks like you're having a downtown
Yes.
center close to the library, I
It
understand, on
is.
Capitol
It
Street?
actually is right beside the newly renovated Canal Public
That's a nice
Library.
space for you.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's the old Canal Banking and Trust
Oh, I
building.
know it.
So
Absolutely.
107 Capitol Street. Over the summer, we've been doing renovations inside the space, and we anticipate having our grand opening in mid-September. But it's really going to be an extension of our campus and institute in downtown Charleston, the capital city of our beautiful state. We want to bring West Virginia State University to Charleston, because one of the things we know, Jim, is that in the Kanawha Valley alone, there are 10,000 alum of West Virginia State University. And our goal is to make sure that we're reconnecting with those alum by providing them a home. Again, in the capital city, we'll be doing a number of different things in that space. We'll have academic programs. We're going to be moving some of our graduate degree programs to downtown Charleston. We'll also be having some of our professional development programs. We just started a new program called the Certificate of Certified Public Manager program. That program will be based in there. The space will also be used as an opportunity for us to display our student art. So we wanted to really connect with that part of our identity. But most importantly, we want the space to be, again, a hub, a connection hub, where members of the community, our alum, can come and learn more about West Virginia State. We want to be a part of our capital city. So when the city has things such as the regatta, when they have festival, we want to make sure that our doors are open and that we truly are connected to the capital city.
You're going to love all the stuff that happens in Charleston. That's
Yes.
going to be great for West Virginia State University as we continue our conversation with the president, President Ericke S. If we don't get a chance to get to some questions, or if you don't hear some things that's on your mind, you can always reach the president or someone at the university by calling 304-766-3000. That's their main number, 304-766-3000. They have a very engaging website, WB State U. That's WB State U. It's on the screen, wbstateu.edu. You can go there. You were talking about engaging with the alumni, the 10,000 alumni, but you engage in alumni from all over the world.
Yes.
And that segues into the launch of a capital campaign. You're
Yes.
doing a lot of things. Everybody's got to invest a little bit into
right.
it. And so what's going on with your capital campaign,
So
Eric?
you are absolutely right, Jim. So one of the things we also did is we just completed our next strategic plan, which we call Future State. And that strategic plan has a lot of different initiatives that we will be engaging in to move the university to the next level of excellence. And of course, all those things cost money. We need resources. So we will be launching the university's second capital campaign. And that campaign will launch in the spring of 2024. We're currently in the feasibility stage, study stage now. We have an outside firm which is working with us to learn more about our internal processes and to help us identify what our capital campaign goal will be. But that's going to be critically important from the standpoint of engaging not just our alumni, but our community of supporters, really engaging this entire community. Because again, one of the things that I always say is that West Virginia State University is an integral part of our community. It really is the fabric that runs through the Kanawha Valley, because again, we've got 10,000 alumni just in this valley, And again, our contributions to the community are significant. I believe that if all of us come together and that we rally around West Virginia State University, we will have a successful capital campaign, which will not just, again, benefit the university, but benefit all of this community in West Virginia.
I'm confident you'll do well. You
Absolutely.
have a great reputation, and again, I keep belaboring the fact that that history is so rich.
It
and
is.
And it's just so wonderful, and it's a great institution.
Yes.
Let's talk about some of the things currently that we're doing new in the academic world. I think we talked about it the last time you were on, but let's talk about the cybersecurity
Yes.
growth. We touched on it a year or so ago, but talk about cybersecurity, and then I know a nursing program is coming,
That's
if
right.
not already.
Well, yes, so cybersecurity is something that was one of the first things that I decided that we needed to do really when I was interim president. I looked around and I said, look, we know cybersecurity is an in-demand field. You know, everywhere you look, there are conversations about cybersecurity because everything we do these days is connected to the internet, connected online. And every single day there's someone out there trying to infiltrate our system. So I firmly believed at the time and continue to believe that we need to make sure that cybersecurity is a program that is available to our students so that they can have the skills needed to get the jobs of the new economy. So we did start a cybersecurity program with support from the Kanawha County Commission. Since starting that program, we are now offering a academic minor in cybersecurity. Our plan is to grow that to a full baccalaureate degree, a Baccalaureate of Science degree. But in addition to the academic side of the house, we're also engaged in research. And we currently have a grant through the U.S. Department of Education in partnership with Marshall University. And we've received at this point over $2 million. The cybersecurity program cybersecurity research is focused on critical infrastructure, making sure that we are studying and identifying new ways to protect our critical infrastructure. So I'm very excited for the collaboration that we have with Marshall University on that grant. It is only going to help to serve our community by making sure, again, that we are discovering new ways and innovations to protect our critical infrastructure. But it'll also obviously support our students at West Virginia State University.
And then nursing as well? Nursing?
Yes, so our nursing program, actually, I believe it's going into its third year.
Okay, right.
So some good news, Jim. The nursing program now is fully accredited. We received that news.
That is good news.
Received that news couple months ago.
But just like cybersecurity, the
Yes.
growth in healthcare and people are living longer, nursing and
That's right.
healthcare professionals are needed.
They are
So
absolutely
you
needed.
did your research on that as well.
Yes, we're so excited about the nursing program. We had our first graduation this past spring, and every single one of those graduates walked out of our university with a job in hand.
No, I believe that.
Absolutely.
I believe that. We're talking with the president of West Virginia State University, and as I mentioned at the top, it's going to be all things Yellow Jackets, all things State University, lots of good insight. They have some great announcements and some great new growth down at the Institute West Virginia where they're located. As our show is airing this week, the week of August the 14th, fall classes are just starting.
That's right.
And a couple weeks ago, I had the superintendent of Kanawha County Schools on, and he's been doing this 45, 50 years. Wow. And he said, the first day of school, I still get butterflies. It's very exciting. How do you feel the first week when the students get back on campus?
Yes, well, it's an amazing feeling because that's really why we're at the university, right? We're at the university to support our students in achieving their dreams. And of course, we do that through the delivery of an excellent education, because we know education transforms lives. But earlier today, I was before I left campus to come do this show. Our students and parents are moving into the residence hall. It's a great sight to see. Our classes will begin next Monday, and the academic year will get into full swing. But it's an incredible sight to see because. Of course, I do live on campus in the president's house, and over the summer months, it gets a little quiet on campus sometimes. So when this time of year comes around again, like I said, there's
a buzz that you just can't put the energy in the buzz.
It is a buzz.
It just feels good.
Yes.
You want to get outside. It still feels like summer. Fall's coming. You can walk around that beautiful campus.
That's right. The
Beautiful
buzz
trees.
from the Yellow Jackets.
I love it. That's a good one. The buzz from the Yellow Jackets. So, I'm going to bring this up too. What did West Virginia State University? I'm an MEC guy. I'm an old WVIC guy. I went to West Virginia Wesleyan College. I love all of our schools in our region and throughout West Virginia. And we just very recently, lost one. Alderson Broadus no longer has the ability to distribute and hand out and earn diplomas. What did West Virginia State University do to possibly welcome some of those students to Charleston and to Institute?
Absolutely. And, you know,
That's tough. It's tough.
It's tough.
It's
And
tough.
I'll just say our heart goes out to the Alderson Brothers family, faculty, the staff, the students, the alumni, and frankly, the entire community, the city of Philippi, because we know that universities are an important part of the communities in which they're located. So this is just a really sad day. It's a challenging time. What I have said is that West Virginia State University, our doors are open, and we are here to help AB students as they look to transfer or continue their education. We have waived our application fee. We've expedited the review of transcripts. We have had well over 20 AB students who have expressed an interest in transferring into our institution. We've set up a concierge of sorts just to work with them to help them through the process. So we believe that we will have a number of AB students on our campus in the fall. But again, anything we can do, we will do it to help the AB community, and that is not just West Virginia State, that's all institutions of higher education in West Virginia.
That's very good. President Cage, we've got about 2 minutes left in our program.
Yeah.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, are you ready for football season and basketball season right after that? I mean, I love athletics,
Sure.
and I know you do. I see you down at the Convocation Center.
Yes.
I see you at the field. You have a great coaching staff, Coach
do.
Pennington, Coach Poore. I mean, the tennis. I mean, you guys are on a roll. Charles is good with the women's team.
That's right.
You guys got it going on. Are you ready for the football season to start and the athletics to get going?
I am absolutely ready for the football season to get started. I know that Coach Pennington has had the guys on the field the last couple of weeks, kind of getting them ready, getting them primed. I think it's going to be a phenomenal season. But I also want to mention, Jim, we just brought back cross country and track and field.
Oh, giddy up. I was a cross-country
Yes.
guy in high school.
We just
and
brought
I'm a
it
track
back.
guy. So you're going to have a cross-country and track team?
We are.
This year or next year?
This year.
Good for you
This
guys.
fall.
I did not know that.
And our coach, Coach Boyset, has already recruited close to 70 students
Oh, nice.
to be on that in
Oh, I'm
that
tickled.
program. So my message to you and your viewers is to please watch our athletic programs very, very carefully, because I think it's going to be a very exciting season.
I love it. Well, that is about all the time we have for on this edition
Yes.
of Highlights. As I promised at the top, full of insight. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I applaud you. You're doing a great job.
Thank you, Jim.
And all the folks at West Virginia University are proud of their president as well, President Eric Cage. Athletics is right around the corner. Agricultural school hopefully coming soon. Cybersecurity, nursing. There is a buzz in the Yellow Jacket Nation, and we hope that you would like to be involved with that buzz as well. You can give them a call if we didn't get to a question maybe you had on your heart, 304-766-3000. Go to their website, wbstateu.edu, wbstateu.edu, and that is officially all the time we have for on this edition of Highlights, as always brought to you through a collaboration between my company, Jim Strawn and Company, Optimum Cable Services, and Kanawha County Schools TV. We'll see you down at the football field at West Virginia State University very soon, and we'll see you next time right here on Highlights. Take care now.